Welcome to Wealth Waves Leadership Live here on February the 12th, right in the middle of Black History Month. I'm Candice Darien, and I'll be your host for today's discussion around an important and timely topic, the future of Black American financial literacy. During our program today, we're going to hear from a panel of accomplished leaders that will provide a variety of perspectives on our topic. But first, allow me to set the stage with a brief analysis of some startling data from an insightful new survey. The financial well-being of Black Americans lags that of the U.S. population as a whole. The reasons are complex, but statistics reveal the financial illiteracy is a contributing factor to the gap. To help close the gap and to increase the well-being enjoyed by Black Americans, a new system of financial education and access to top financial products are required. Financial literacy is the knowledge and understanding that enables sound financial decision-making and effective management of your personal finances. When a person's financial literacy is increased, their total well-being follows. It can elevate every area of their life. During this episode, we're going to focus on data from some of the latest studies surrounding this important and timely topic. Studies that show the financial literacy level of average U.S. adult is actually moderate to poor, and that's troubling. But what's worse is the fact that financial literacy among Black Americans is behind the average U.S. adult. In a recent Personal Finance Index study, Black American adults, on average, answered only 38% of the study questions correctly. 28% answered over half of the study questions correctly, and only 5% answered over 75% of the questions correctly. In other words, the average Black American adult doesn't know the basics about how money works. The index measured personal finance knowledge and understanding in key areas like wages and take-home pay, budgets and managing spending, saving factors that maximize cash accumulations, investment types, risk and return, borrowing and managing debt, types of coverage, and how insurance works. In each area, Black Americans answered less than half of the index questions correctly. If you zoom in into the statistics, you'll find particular areas where literacy is weaker than others. For instance, Black Americans ranked lowest within the topic of insuring, answering only 32% of the questions correctly. Functional knowledge was only marginally better within the areas of comprehending risk, investing, and go-to information sources. On the bright side, borrowing and debt management were the highest areas of financial knowledge for Black Americans. Among all U.S. American adults, financial literacy is higher among men, older individuals, the formally educated, and the high earners. Financial literacy is significantly higher among men than women. And according to the index questions answered correctly, there is a 7 percentage point difference between Black American men than women. Another insight from the study is that personal finance knowledge tends to increase with age. On average, Black Americans under the age of 45 were able to answer 33% of the index questions correctly. Now, let's compare that with 43% correct answers by those who were 45 and older. That's a difference of 10 percentage points. Personal finance knowledge also tends to be greater among those with a higher household income. When comparing index questions answered correctly, there's a 29% disparity between Black Americans with a household income below $25,000 than those with a household income of $100,000 or more. This clearly indicates that families with higher incomes know more about the fundamentals of personal finance. Financial literacy also varies with employment status. In particular, unemployed or disabled Black Americans have substantially lower personal finance knowledge than those who are employed and retired. In the U.S. adult population, financial literacy tends to be greater among those with higher in financial education. There is an 11% difference in the percentage of index questions answered correctly between Black Americans who have participated in financial education and those who have not. On average, college-educated Black Americans answered 53% questions correctly, compared with 24% among those with a high school degree. A correlation between financial literacy and financial wellness has always existed. The findings in this study show that this holds true among Black Americans. The study indicates that those with a higher level of financial literacy tend to exhibit greater financial well-being. Consistent with the financial literacy stats we first covered, Black American adults tend to experience a lower financial well-being than other American adults. As we said, financial literacy is the knowledge and understanding that enables sound financial decision-making and effective management of your money. Therefore, knowing how money works helps define the entire well-being of an individual. Numbers like these that continue to come after year should signal to us all that quality of life is determined by how money works. If this is true, why do schools, businesses, the government, and the communities ignore, downplay, de-emphasize financial education? Once you start studying it, it's obvious, isn't it? Financial literacy and financial wellness go hand in hand. One determines the other. Those who are more financially literate are more likely to plan and save for retirement, to have non-retirement savings, and to better manage their debt. They are also less likely to be financially vulnerable. While not a cure-all, improving financial literacy can lead to improved financial capability and personal financial practices that benefit even those with a relatively low income. Improved financial literacy could help provide measurable quality of life differences by increasing financial opportunity, financial confidence, financial success, regardless of the income level. According to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors in 2019, 66% of Black Americans report that they're doing at least okay financially. The median household income among Black Americans in 2019 was $35,400, but the Black American household net worth was only $17,600, and 19% had a zero or negative net worth. The only word I can think of is, this is unacceptable. Can financial education help us transform these numbers so that in the future, the net worth of Black Americans match or surpass their income level? That's a question we should be asking, and that's the goal we should be pursuing. Increased financial literacy enabled by financial education can transform the financial well-being of Black Americans, and that's clear. That's what these studies and numbers show us. But is anyone doing anything about it? In a moment, you'll meet a panel of leaders who are attacking financial literacy head on. Every day, they lead teams of educators who are teaching people how money really works by using a new best-selling book in the classes that work with it. The book is titled How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. It's being featured on TV, such as CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, and CNBC. The How Money Works education system has been designed to help families learn the fundamental concept of financial literacy quickly and make better money decisions by leveraging practical strategies. These leaders have deployed the education system within their businesses, and with their educators, they're here today to discuss the impact and results of teaching families how money works. Together, they're determined to close the financial literacy gap that hinders Black Americans by equipping us with the financial education at every age and at every income level. Already deep into the mission, they're setting a new level of financial well-being for Black families, financial strength for Black communities, and financial success for Black business owners. They're working in schools and workplaces, churches, and not-for-profits. Their topics touch all the areas from the study that we discussed earlier. That includes earning, consuming, saving, investing, borrowing and managing debt, ensuring, and comprehending risk and uncertainty. Their work is impressive and it is important. Let's meet our panelists now. We're here today to discuss a very important topic with a distinguished panel of experts. These leaders have dedicated their lives and careers to making financial illiteracy a thing of the past, especially in our communities. With us today for this discussion, we have Mr. James Wilkerson from Titletown, Tampa Bay. Welcome, James. And we also have Miss Jana B. Woodhouse from New York City. Hello, Jana.
Hi.
And we have Mr. Kenan Godfrey from Macon, Georgia. Hello, Kenan. And last but not least, we have Mr. Alvin Darien II from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hello, Candice.
Hi, Alvin. Well, thank you all for being with us. I know this topic means so much to each of you, and you've dedicated quite a bit of energy in your careers to bringing real solutions that are as big as the issues we face. So let's start with you, James. You're a certified financial planner in addition to decades of experience. What would you do first to hit this situation head on?
Well, financial education is the key. When you know the difference it can make in a person's life, their family, their future, you put your focus there. Our communities need to have access to know this information and then have help applying it to their finances. No one needs to be a genius to understand money. We have to learn the basics, then put the knowledge to work. It's just that simple.
Well, what if someone says, I waited too long, I should have done this years ago. My chances to improve my financial circumstances is past.
Well, I simply ask people to have hope. My background is the military, so we were always taught never throw in the towel. So you gotta have hope. It's never too late to start a pattern of saving, protecting, and doing smart things with money. Anyone at any age can experience financial well-being by improving their financial decisions. But the truth is today is better than tomorrow. I believe it was John F. Kennedy who said, don't put off unto tomorrow what you could do today. So we have to have a plan that works today. So there's a plan we can provide for any situation. If it's important to you, there's a plan for success that's possible.
That's good to know. Thank you so much, James.
Yeah, you know, the other thing I share with you, Candice, is that procrastination, it isn't a race thing, it's a green thing, it's a money thing. You have to make financial literacy a priority and then do something now about what you learned. That's the key. Position your money so it can work as hard for you as you work to get it.
Why is it that our communities haven't traditionally made protecting their income as well as saving for the future more of a priority?
You know, one of the reasons is that financial protection and saving is invisible to our friends, our relatives. We live in a society where there are people who believe in status. You go buy stuff with money you don't have to impress people who really don't like it. Keeping up with the Joneses. And so what we want to focus on is doing the things that we need to be doing for our family, the stuff that they don't see, saving that money, because what people see is not really the real reason we're in the situation we are financially. We want them to see how successful they could be when they do some of the things we talk about from a financial literacy standpoint. You see what I mean? And the other thing you have to understand is people have to be comfortable with what we are doing for our own individual family, our goal, our objective, not what people see. Your future is more important to you and your family than what anyone else thinks. That's a mindset that financial literacy can influence and impact.
James, you also teach entrepreneurship to people who want to earn more income, to people who want to take control of their time, as well as their money. So why should someone who is unhappy with their income consider teaching someone else about money?
That's a good question, Candice, and kind of funny, isn't it? Financial literacy is so low today that it doesn't take someone with a doctorate like Jana in finance to educate others. Anyone with enough passion or our simple, proven, powerful education system can help other people become financially literate and build a business doing it. Additionally, you don't have to be financially successful yourself to give access to the concepts that we share, to the strategies, to help others face truths that have been too intimidating to discuss in the past. The reason why people are intimidated talking about money is because it hasn't been taught in schools. And so we want to get rid of that stigma associated with it. We go our whole life without the knowledge, confused, lost, and frustrated. And according to the National Financial Educators Council, not knowing how money works has cost Americans over $400 billion in 2020. That's billions with a B. That money should be in the pockets of our communities, not in the vaults of the financial industry. We take that money, we put it back into our communities, our schools, our churches, our businesses, and our homes. But to get that education out there, we need more teachers. That's why we're doing what we do. Teaching teachers who teach others. We teach them how to share financial education, then to build a successful business doing it. That's it. That's how we're making a difference. We're different by design.
That's for sure. Thanks, James. Now, let's talk to Jana. You worked on Wall Street for decades. How is it that our communities have missed this and the kind of shape that they're in with the financial literacy and money?
Well, first, Candice, I want to thank you and appreciate you for having me here. I've spent my whole career teaching money to everyone, all of Main Street America. As James mentioned, irony. You know, here's the great irony of financial literacy. For whatever reason, it seems that people only really want to learn about money when time is short. The first thing we teach is that time can be your best friend. Start now. Get a financial professional today and listen to them. Learn the most important four-letter word that you'll ever need to know: math. M-A-T-H. If the math says it, you must do it. That's how a financial plan should begin. Mathematically sound. Numbers don't lie.
We're not talking complex math here, right? We're just talking simple math, right?
That's right. You know, simple math is that you get your numbers on paper so you can see them and act on them, as opposed to keeping them up in your brain and not really seeing anything, making it real to you.
Okay, good. And I love that. I love math. So what's next?
Okay, that's a great question. Here's what's next. Okay, we have people follow our 7 money milestones. We help them check them off one by one until they complete it. We have them complete our money discovery form, which shows them a snapshot of their finances like most people have never seen before. It reveals so much and creates urgency. It tells you where you are now, and it shows you how we can help you, of course, to achieve those goals in going forward. That's the first step. Then we help you to put a complete, customized strategy, and we can help you, and you make a wise decision with your money going forward for the rest of your life. It's a roadmap that leads you from one stage of life to the next, and eventually to achieve your goals in the future. Wow. Let's go to something that's simple, the IRS 1040 form. And we all file that at the end of the year, each year. But it can also serve as a roadmap to our finances. It shows me where a client is regarding for their finances, and then it also shows where they may need some guidance. You know, as accountants and tax professionals, this is an inside view and a tool for possible course corrections in a client's life. This is a great time of year to make course corrections with your money, if you need it, to choose a better path to get to your future and what you're looking for, your goals and your dreams. As they say, if you don't have a plan, then you plan to fail.
Yeah, that's great advice, Jana. Let's talk about the future then. So Kenan, you spent your whole career educating people about saving for retirement. So why is it important for our community?
Well, as you said in your opening, Candice, in 2019, average Black American household net worth was under $18,000, but 19% had zero or negative net worth. Simply appalling. Black families who don't learn how money works and don't start saving more for retirement could become completely dependent on others, like Social Security and other family members. By not focusing on their net worth today, they give up the financial independence in the future. It's so important to take steps now so you're not forced to forfeit your lifestyle in retirement or rely on others to take care of you.
Wow, I completely agree, Kenan. So what actions can people take now to better prepare for retirement?
Well, they can do some very simple things. Read the How Money Works book and learn about the time value of money, the power of compound interest, and the rule of 72. That has to be where you start. Read about the 7 money milestones, as Jana mentioned. This first step is going to give you much more confidence when making financial decisions. It unlocks action. And then you take that knowledge and that confidence and start working with a financial professional to put these basic concepts and strategies to work. And it's these building blocks that are going to form the basis for a solid retirement savings account. And it gives you the financial roadmap and all of that added confidence, quality of life, and nailing of goals that comes with it. And as James said, it's never too late to start, and it's definitely never too early to start.
Wow, hopefully a lot of young and older viewers will follow your advice and get the book. We've been talking about the future and retirement, so let's go a little further out in future talk about legacy building, taking care of your kids, your grandkids down the road. So Kenan, how can a proper legacy plan change the future for an entire family?
People can change the future for the next generation of their family in 2 main ways: growing wealth to pass on to their children, or putting life insurance in place to leave their children a death benefit. And the study you talked about earlier showed that insuring ranked the lowest in financial knowledge areas in our community. Others have used life insurance strategically to protect their families if they die too early, but also to help their children live more financially secure lives. It can prevent a great deal of financial hardship for families that lose their income. Now, these strategies that are common in other communities should also be used throughout the Black community. We must take advantage of the protection and legacy building benefits offered through life insurance with long-term care added. And it should be fundamental in our community.
Wow, that's a great idea. How to give the next generation a leg up. So now we have Alvin. You've been in the business for almost 20 years. What would you say to someone who wants to break the cycle of illiteracy in our communities?
Well, it's just like James said, we're rarely taught in schools. You know, you can't naturally learn it from your friends, your family, your parents, your coworkers. You need a basic education, and you need to work with a financial professional that can help you decide exactly what to do to move forward. You know, like read books like How Money Works. We got to stop waiting for tomorrow. We got to get started now. You know, we're never too young, we're never too old to start learning about money. Think about this. We Google everything, right? If I wanted to fly an airplane across the Pacific Ocean, do you think I'm going to Google how to fly an airplane? If I'm going to Google how to do my own surgery, do you think I'm going to Google that? But for some reason, people Google money and think they can figure it out.
Wow, Alvin, you made a great point there. So let's move on to entrepreneurship. If you're Black in America, you're more likely to be an entrepreneur. So according to a recent report, 20% of Black population started a business in recent years, compared to only 12% of white Americans. Why do you think that is?
Well, I can tell you this, it's out of necessity. Because the things like the black ceiling, the glass ceiling, the traditional corporate path can be more difficult. So many people of color choose to do their own thing and usually do it with fewer resources. You know, most of the time, we got to work twice as hard just to get half.
Wow. You're making a great point. Over 1 million Black-owned businesses closed for the good part of last year with the challenges happening in 2020. These past summer racial justice reckoning spotlighted those challenges, but it also created new opportunities by applying pressure on America to take a hard look at the need to open doors and also eliminate barriers. What opportunities do you see?
Well, you know, when you look at opportunities, and sometimes it can come disguised as a crisis. You know, all you do is look for a problem. When you look for a problem, guess what? You're going to find a solution. And when you find a solution, it's going to create opportunities. But the problem is also going to open up opportunities. One of the secrets that I learned from some very wealthy, wise individuals, they shared with me, he said, Alvin, one of the secrets is this. To entrepreneurship and business success, the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the opportunity. You know, that's why I'm so excited to be part of the financial services industry. You know, helping families from all walks of life, different people, different backgrounds. We're bringing financial education, you know, regardless of age, gender, religion, and race. That's the key right there. Now we understand top financial products and strategies made accessible through education. If you don't know how money really works, you can become part of this conversation. Now, otherwise, you're going to just be listening in and you have no idea if you're on the right track. When we transform our words, we can create a new future. In order for us to make progress, Candice, we need new relationships, new conversations, and new connections. So we must go from change to transformation. When you transform anything, you can never go back to its original state. Now, Candice, never go back to its original state. We must transform our mindset, transform our thinking, transform our actions, and then we're going to transform our legacy.
Wow. Thank you so much, Alvin. Transformation through financial education. That certainly seems to be the theme of today's discussion. Well, folks, it's been great. And one thing is clear. You're not just changing financial literacy with Black Americans. You are changing it everywhere. The financial literacy statistics for almost every community in America, and in the world for that matter, are just too low. Our financial well-being and the well-being for our children and the future generations is just at stake. Everyone needs to know about how money works and how to apply that knowledge to their finances. This is the kind of discussion that needs to happen for real transformation to make it very possible. Most people today can find financial information on the internet, but very few can get a true financial education. Let's work together to help everyone in our community get the financial education they deserve, one that can make a real difference in their lives. I'm Candice Darien, and we'll see you next time for another edition of the Future of Financial Literacy. Thank you.